This is North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN. The following is a special edition of WDUN's Game On.
This girl is on fire.
It's the Game On Coaches Show, featuring interviews and insights into area high school football through the eyes of a local coach. Live from Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville, it's WDUN's Katie B. Davis. Game on, Katie B. Game on.
We're already having a lot of fun here at Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville. We welcome into the Coaches Show tonight the Lakeview Lions and their coach, Matthew Gruhn. Coach, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Now, he's already kicking some of his players out for being a little too rowdy, but guys, I think you can stay. So go ahead and stick around with us, folks. 10% of food sales between 7 and 8 tonight will be returned to the Lakeview Lions. So even if you come in just to get wings to go, we implore you to do so. But what we really want you to do is come out to the porch and enjoy a great conversation between myself and Coach Matthew Gruhn from now until 8 o'clock. It's always so much fun, Coach Gruhn, doing these because I get to see people I haven't seen in a very long time. The people I was taught by or people that have influenced me in my life or that I've met in my life have gone to other schools. And Miss Beth McElwee back there, she's now at Lakeview and was a math teacher at Gainesville High School when I was there, one of the favorite teachers at Gainesville High School. And while I was not taught by her, she did teach all of my friends, and they absolutely adored her. And then Mr. John Carrick, Coach John Carrick, I should say, formerly of Georgia College and State University, recruited me when I was a senior in high school in basketball. We've got a funny story about my recruiting trip down there. I'm going to Milledgeville. I was hard-headed as an 18-year-old. I was actually 17 at the time, hard-headed. Didn't want my parents to go with me. So I start towards Athens, get on the 10 loop to go to Milledgeville, and just never got off of it for about 2 hours. I just went round and round and round Athens. Coach Carrick's calling my parents, where's Katie B? Nobody knows where I am. I end up using a payphone to call my parents, and they got me back home. I had to go on my recruiting trip the next weekend, and for some reason the man still wanted me to come to school there. He's now the girls basketball coach at Lakeview Academy, and I appreciate you being here too, Coach John Carrick. We want to get started with you, and we'd like for these Thursday night conversations to be more of a feature story than an X's and O's about football. We can delve into X's and O's anytime we want to, or at least I think I can with you. Maybe I can't. But what we first want to ask Coach Matthew Gruhn, how did you get started in football?
Well, I guess it started, when I was born, going into the family that I was born in. And I don't remember many Friday nights not being on a football field. Growing up, being a water boy, a manager, and just toting footballs in and out, and going to get the kicking tee. And so it's really been a part of my life for as long as I can remember.
You went to Gainesville High School and thusly played for your father, Bobby Gruhn. Obviously, those of you out there listening on AM 550 and FM 102.9, the younger generation will recognize that name because of the field that's named after him, and it's the field that the Red Elephants play on today. But he was an incredible coach at Gainesville High School. Was it difficult being the son of the high school football coach when you were in high school?
You know, it really wasn't. He treated me, on the practice field pretty tough. Certainly didn't let me get away with anything. But when he came home, we didn't talk much football. He treated me the same as he had, any other time. So looking back, it wasn't very tough at all. It was a great experience.
What position did you play?
Played quarterback.
You were quarterback under your father, and that wasn't hard at all. He didn't make you go home and watch game film?
Well, he wasn't my position coach, thankfully.
Nice, okay.
If he was, it might have been a whole different story.
Now, did you take driver's education under your father? Because he was also a driver's education coach.
I had it every day of my life, but right. I did actually take it with him, yes.
Well, here's the thing, Coach Gruhn, so did I. And he hit me with his ring, and he wore this huge ring. He hit me with his ring. I've still got bruises on the back of my head. Did he ever hit you from the passenger seat when you were driving?
He did, but he hit me at home, too. So I got the brunt of all of it.
I'm dying to hear this. Tell some of your favorite memories or one favorite memory from not just playing for your dad, but playing for Gainesville High School.
Well, there's so many. High school football is, it's just one of the great experiences of my life. But one thing he would always do, he would tell a joke before every game.
Really?
When you're supposed to, get people hyped up and all that, he would tell a joke, and they were awful. They were absolutely awful, but somehow I guess it just relaxed us, or we would all want it. We'd all start yelling joke, 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 and he would tell it, and it was just awful. And but that was the beauty of it, I think. But that was, I don't know why I remember that, but that was one of the few things, one of the many things that I do remember.
As I've gotten later on in my life, I realize it's the little things you do remember, not necessarily the hits or even the points on the scoreboard, but the things like telling a joke in a locker room. Lakeview Athletic Director Deuce Roark just walked into the building. Hey, Mr. Roark, so happy to have you here along with your family. He's doing a great job at Lakeview Academy. You played with him at Gainesville High School.
I did.
What was he like?
Well, I haven't forgiven him yet. We had a game against Johnson, our big rival, and he was a receiver, and I threw a pass, and he dropped it. And we lost by 6, I think. So
it was what? For those of you,
can you blame me?
Yeah, no, not at all. For those of you out there who couldn't hear what Mr. Deuce Roark said, he said it was the one pass Matthew Gruhn did not throw to Damon Evans. So that's pretty funny. We all know what Damon Evans did at wide receiver for Gainesville High School. You and I have had conversations about this before, Coach Gruhn, but never in this context. How big of an influence was your father in you deciding to become not a football coach, but a teacher and a coach?
Well, huge. You know, both my parents, I guess, combined 69 years at Gainesville High School. And so, you know, when you grow up in that environment, that's all you know. And initially, when I went to college, I wanted to be a business major, and that didn't work out too well. So you just kind of go back to something that you feel accustomed to, you know. And so I think both my parents had an instrumental impact on that decision.
Again, for the younger generations, whether you're listening to Game On or in the audience tonight, Bobby Gruhn posthumously inducted into the Georgia Athletic Coaches Association Hall of Fame on June 7th, 2008, 13 years after his passing. June 7th was Coach Gruhn's birthday.
Yes.
It was also the day that he and his lovely wife, Jean, your mother, were married. You know, my platform, folks, isn't big, but it is one, and I'm going to take a moment to say that Coach Gruhn had 245 wins, 104 losses, 5 ties at Gainesville High School, 9 trips to the state quarterfinals, 11 state semifinal appearances, 4 state final appearances. He retired in 1992 after 23 consecutive winning seasons. And in my mind, with my platform, he should have been inducted a lot earlier than he was. I should add that the views expressed by yours truly do not reflect those of my guest or the people in attendance at Buffalo Wild Wings. Behind most good sons, behind most good fathers, behind most good coaches, there's a woman. And I think lost in the glow that surrounds the memory of your father, lost in the achievements of you, is a very special woman. Coach, what kind of coach's wife, what kind of coach's mother was Miss Jean Gruhn?
Well, unbelievable. I mean, she didn't miss a game, and she was probably, when you asked earlier how was it at home, she was probably my biggest supporter at home. So she wouldn't allow him to get on me when we got home. But she was, you got to be a steady rock, and there's good times and there's bad times. And I just remember her as being a steady rock the whole time. It's
amazing when you think about coaches' wives not missing a game. That to me, I think, speaks more about what it means to be a high school coach than really anything does. You have to have a great support system, especially if your son is playing on the same field that your father is coaching on. Coach Roark coming into Buffalo Wild Wings made me think of this, too. You have friends over to the house that played football with you. How did he treat them?
I think he treated them just like he would me. I mean, he wouldn't again, we didn't talk much football. He'd joke around with them. He'd hit them, too. So I guess in some aspects, today's world, he might be an abusive father. I don't know.
Coach Roark, no, he wouldn't be. No. I still have bruises from his ring on the back of my head. You know about that, Coach Deuce Roark. You excelled on the tennis courts. I think that would surprise a lot of people that you excelled on the tennis courts, playing for then Division II Presbyterian College after a stellar career at Gainesville. Tennis very different from football, both in the sport itself, but also in its individualistic nature. What do you enjoy about the sport of tennis?
Well, I don't play anymore. Mm-hmm. But
Too old?
Yes.
Yes, right,
yes,
right.
I can't play like I used to play.
Well,
So therefore, we do not play anymore. Yeah, it was different. I played football, basketball, and tennis, and all, two football and basketball, ultimate team sports, and then tennis was more individualistic, like you say, and so it just was a different challenge, and it was something I became decent at, so that was part of it too.
A lot of times when you see athletes that play multiple sports, one sport can lead to being excellent in another, whether it be through learning footwork in basketball and that translating to football, or vice versa, or having good hands in baseball, or whatever, being the pitcher in baseball and it translating to football. Did anything in tennis help you in football and vice versa?
I think so. I think when you play multiple sports, just competing in different arenas just really helps you, because I think success ultimately comes down to what kind of competitor you are. And the more you compete, and the more you compete in different ways and different arenas, makes you better overall.
Why in the world do you, a college tennis player, coach golf at Lakeview?
That's a great question. You got to ask our athletic director.
Hold on. While Steve Chester, a college golf player, coaches tennis at Lakeview Academy. Now, Steve Chester, who has given me his answer for this, but I don't believe much of what he says. I want you to explain it to me.
Well, I would first say that Steve Chester, what he says, I wouldn't believe either.
Right, that's it, yeah.
The first thing. But I don't really know the answer to that, but I'm not complaining.
Okay,
I like it.
Well, maybe we can get Coach Deuce Roark up here to explain it to me, because it blows my mind. Maybe not. You don't have as much expectations. If you're but we'll see. Whatever, right? Folks, we're going to take our first break. When we come back to Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville, we're going to dive into the program that is Lakeview Academy, a program the man sitting to my right began 7 years ago. Remember, 10% of food sales between now and 8 o'clock will be returned to the Lakeview Lions. Come support one of our local high schools. Get your wings to go. Come out on the porch and join us for 45 minutes more of great conversation on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
From the WDUN Milton Martin Honda 24-hour newsroom, Hall County and its cities revised the local option sales tax distribution certificate in an emergency meeting today. Details at accessnorthga.com and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
In 1980, it won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. Don't miss Lanford Wilson's immortal play, Tally's Folly, the heartwarming story of a beautiful 31-year-old Protestant spinster and the older Jewish immigrant who loves her. Watch them fall in love in 97 minutes of real time in the dilapidated boathouse built by her uncle. It's a journey of wonder, despair, and humanity, and by play's end, that boathouse will mean as much to you as it does to Matt and Sally. Tally's Folly runs from October 24th through November 3rd at the historic Cumming Playhouse. Get your tickets today at playhousecumming.com.
For over 6 decades, the Allen Insurance Group has helped customers all over the state of Georgia obtain the most competitive and comprehensive coverage for businesses, homes, automobiles, and more. Now, they work hand in hand with Nationwide Agribusiness to provide farmers and ranchers with the same competitive products. From poultry farms to cattle farms, Allen Insurance wants to help you obtain the farm coverage you need at the best possible price. Contact Wendell Bagwell, North Georgia's only master certified agribusiness agent on Memorial Park Road, or online at allen-insurance.com. At Allen Insurance, when it comes to farming, they're on your side.
Whether it's a favorite grocery store or a favorite restaurant, the difference in a business is the people. We like to do business with people we know and trust. Our business is no different. This is Ben Mason, and I've been serving Gainesville and North Georgia for decades. I've been with Little Davenport Funeral Home since 1984, and I'm proud to serve alongside the caring professionals with whom I work. We're locally owned and operated, dignified and personal service by folks you know and trust. The choice is clear. Little and Davenport Funeral Home. Know the difference, no peace of mind.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-642-8896. 1-800-642-8896. That's 1-800-642-8896. 1-800-642-8896.
Coast to Coast AM.
Strange dreams, and I'm just wondering, is that a common phenomena, or have I went nuts?
No, you're not nuts. Every night on North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9, WDUN.
Well, we're back at Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville for the Game On Coaches Show. Folks, there are a pride of lions out here on the porch with us about to eat some wings. 10% of food sales between now and 8 o'clock will be returned to Lakeview Academy. So come join us for some great conversation, some incredible wings, and some really good giveaways. Care of our friends at Hobbs Sporting Goods on Thompson Bridge Road. They're in the Thompson Court Shopping Center. I have on a hat with an LA on it. We've got shirts with Lakeview Lions all over it. We've got stickers. We've got more hats. And it is all care of our friends at Hobbs Sporting Goods. Anything you need for whatever school you attend, they're the place to go to get it. From cups to T-shirts to hats, anything you need. Go see Hobbs Sporting Goods. Nate and Jason will take care of you. Tell them Game On sent you. You began the football program at Lakeview. Began it. I mean, yes. I don't want, you didn't begin your coaching career at Lakeview. You began football at Lakeview. What does it take to start a program?
Well, good question. It takes a lot, more than I even realized. I think more than anybody ever realizes. I mean, when you got to order footballs and just the whole shebang, and it takes a lot of people, a lot of buy-in from a lot of different people because you can't do it by yourself. And fortunately, that's what we had.
Talk about your first coaching staff. When you thought about starting the program, bringing in guys to coach with you, coach under you, what were you looking for?
Well, we were that's really anybody that wanted to do it, and anybody that was available to do it. And so we had a couple guys that only could do it 1 year, and then we started a middle school program, so we're trying to get coaches there. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges that we had.
Was there ever a time that you were discouraged, whether it was in the planning process, midway through the season, postseason, hands on head going, I don't know that this can be done at this school?
Yeah, I think there's always time. I don't care where you are. There's going to be times like that. And but fortunately, we've got a good support staff around and good people, and we've always had great kids and great parents. And so they certainly have helped us get through some of those discouraging times, and hopefully that'll continue.
That first team you had, do the young men who were on it, I know you remember them, do the young men that were on it still come back to school? Have any of them inquired about coaching under you? What's the relationship like between you and that first year, that first group that you had at Lakeview?
It's pretty good. There's a couple. One, we do have one coaching, Holton Carswell, and he's been coaching with us for a while now. And he was on that first team, first quarterback we ever had. And I think with our 7 years, he's been – I think 1 year he hadn't been associated with our program. And he's still in college now, and he drives every day back from Athens and just makes a tremendous commitment to us and does a heck of a job.
I don't know how many out there listening, I don't know how many here right now saw your program that first year. I did, though. And I saw Holton Carswell play. And let me tell you what, I don't know that there's a better young man that you can have leading your young men than Holton Carswell. And I'm not just saying that because he's the nephew of my boss. I don't care about that. He was an incredible athlete. And really, I think, set the tone for what you wanted your program to be. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Just very blessed. He was part of that first team, and couldn't have asked for anybody better, and couldn't really ask for anybody better to be on our staff right now. He's a young guy, but the kids certainly respect him, and they know, because he's the real deal. They know what he's about, and he doesn't have to talk the talk, but everybody knows, and there's not many people like that.
It was interesting to see the progression in year one from your first game to your final game, and really your guys understand the game of football, because for a lot of them that was the first time they played.
It was.
What's the progression like from year one to this year? How has a football understanding sort of come over Lakeview?
It has, and it's improved every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it has absolutely improved every year. I mean, the first year was it was comical in some of the questions we would get and some of the thought processes we would get. But then as years come on, I mean, we're getting kids come in and that we don't have to start from zero every year, and in the teaching and the progressions and stuff. So it's it's been fun transition to see.
How integral, or how important, I should say, how important is having the younger guys, having the lower school, the middle school involved in the program to the continuation of the program?
Yeah, I think anybody would agree with that.
Yeah.
And we started a little blue-white leagues, 3rd through 5th grade, and it's just really just us, and that's been really good. And we got a middle school program. Buddy Bowman, for many of you and Gainesville historians know who Buddy Bowman is. He coached me in high school, and he's a unique individual.
I was just looking at your players. Radio, people don't get to see what I'm doing a lot, but I was actually doing the crazy motion because he is quite unique.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Buddy Bowman, I absolutely adored him. What did he teach you at Gainesville?
That's a great question.
I don't remember what he taught me either, but I know I was in his class.
I was in his class.
I think I slept through it.
Yeah, I might have too.
I know. Wow. Such privileged lives we led when we were young, correct? One thing that you knew, that we all knew coming into this season, was that you had lost a lot from last season. Yeah. You can see that on paper. You can see it on the field. And, you can't teach experience. You lost a lot from last year. But your guys throughout this season have shown resiliency. They've shown an improvement from week to week that, frankly, is what, to me, makes high school sports in general, but high school football in particular, so wonderful. Talk, if you will, about this year's team overall.
Well, it's been a neat group. I tell you, we started off tough, and we lost our first 2 games, and certainly games we thought we could win. And then we had a 3rd game that was against Pinecrest, really, really, I guess you could say, discouraging.
Yeah.
And then, coming up, we got Athens Academy, we got Wesleyan, and so I was a little worried. I was a little worried how we would respond, and would we cash it in, so to speak. But our guys hung in there, and we actually played our best football the last 2 games against Athens Academy and Wesleyan, and when all the signs pointed to, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And because where we were heading, and somehow we rallied, and somehow the kids, it's just a tribute to them. They just hung in there and kept working and kept believing what we're trying to do, and it's starting to show a little fruition now.
When you're winning a lot of games, same as when you're losing a lot of games, motivation can be tough.
Yes.
It's tough to show up at practice, either because you're bored with it, because you're so good and winning a lot, or you're not seeing the fruits of your labor on a Friday night. So either way, it's tough. How have these guys stayed motivated? How have you kept them motivated?
Well, I don't know if I've done a great enough job there, but I think they've been self-motivated, and we still got a group of seniors that, even though we lost so many last year, we still got a great group. And I think there's some carryover from last year, and they certainly have come to practice with a mind to work, and have been good examples for the younger kids, and so I give a lot of credit to them.
You absolutely should. You should give some credit to yourself, though. And you want to talk about motivation, a 42-0 drubbing of Cross Keys that happened last week as Lakeview Academy absolutely showed that things have come to fruition. And it was a wonderful thing to see. We're going to talk about it when we come back to Buffalo Wild Wings. You come back, too.
I'm so glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Ugh, barf.
What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out, look out!
Oh, my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay? My arm. I think it's broken. Can you bend it? It's already bent. In the wrong direction. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case,
my arm is fine.
Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious.
Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
This week on Friday Game Night, AM 550 presents West Hall hosting East Hall. On 102.9, it's North Hall in White County. And on 1240 ESPN Radio, Gainesville travels to Clark Central. Listen on air or online at accessnorthga.com or via our free app, Access WDUN, presented by the Norton Agency. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville.
It's 7:30.
Fox
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Lucera. President Obama pleased the government shutdown is over, urging Congress to set aside differences and move on to other issues.
The key now is a budget that cuts out the things that we don't need, closes corporate tax loopholes that don't help create jobs, and frees up resources for the things that do help us grow, like education and infrastructure and research. And these things historically have not been partisan.
The House and Senate agreed on a deal that ended the shutdown. The president signed off on it late last night. Defense attorneys for the accused Colorado theater shooter James Holmes say they weren't allowed to see him despite the request.
The defense wants to bar statements Holmes made to police immediately following the July 2012 shootings at an Aurora movie theater.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Local and live. This is WDUN News.
From the WDUN Milton Martin Honda 24-hour newsroom, I'm Allison Shields. Hall County authorities say it was a 23-year-old Flyway Branch man who was killed in a single-car crash early this morning on Wade Orr Road. Investigators believe Travis Fowler crashed his Ford F-150 pickup truck around 1 a.m. near the intersection of Saddle Horse Drive. They say Fowler's truck left the roadway and hit a power pole. Fowler was deceased at the accident scene when deputies arrived. If you're planning to vote early, there are a few more days left to beat the rush. Right now, the turnout is slow, but it's expected to pick up the closer we get to the early voting cutoff.
Strong early, but that'll change the closer we get to the elections, and also depending on what races are going on in particular communities around the state.
Secretary of State Brian Kemp says, among other things, it's important to bring your photo ID to the polls. Hall County schools began offering Portuguese 2 months ago as they continue to expand their emphasis on language instruction.
Learning multiple languages at a young age is a job skill that will serve our students well.
That's Superintendent Will Schofield at the reception this morning, welcoming school administrators from Brazil. They are part of an exchange program funded by a grant received by the World Language Academy in South Hall County. World Language Academy Principal David Moody will spend time in Brazil next summer learning from their schools as part of the two-nation exchange. There's more WDUN news at accessnorthga.com. Now here's the WDUN AccuWeather forecast.
Cooler for tonight, low 43 to 50. Patchy fog will start the day. Otherwise, we do see some sunshine tomorrow, high of 66 to 72. Cloudy for tomorrow night, low 46 to 52. Then clouds will limit sunshine on Saturday. We're AccuWeather.com. I'm Jason Lord.
It's 65 in Beaufort, in Cornelia, 64 and 65 in Gainesville. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9, WDUN.
The National Preppers and Survivalist Expo, presented by Triton Shelter Technologies, is the only national event designated for the prepper community. October 19th and 20th at the North Atlanta Trade Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Admission is free, and the doors open at 9 a.m. Join us and learn life-saving tips that can help you and your family handle crisis situations. Special guests include Kevin O'Brien from Nat Geo's Doomsday Preppers, David Crawford, author of Lights Out, the director and cast members from the movie Lights Out Saga, and more. Special guest speakers include GCN's own Dr. Joel Wallach, along with Dr. Bones, Nurse Amy, and Tom Martin, the director of the American Preppers Network, two-time Field and Stream champion Chad Weatherford, along with many other leading experts from around the country. Join us for the country's largest emergency preparedness event, absolutely free, October 19th and 20th at the North Atlanta Trade Center in Atlanta, Georgia. For more information, visit npsexpo.com. That's npsexpo.com.
This is North Georgia's News Talk.
WDUN. Victories within the mile. Almost there, don't give a shout. Only thing that's
Having a lot of fun. We are with the Lakeview Lions tonight at Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville. You got 30 minutes to come get your wing on as we get our game on. 10% of food sales will go back to Lakeview Academy. Now, I was just alerted to something that bothers me a little bit, and that's that your dear mother, someone I hold very dear to me, Miss Jean Gruhn, didn't get to hear us talk about her. So I need you to tell her that you didn't say anything that wouldn't make her proud. Please.
I talked very good about you.
There we go. He talked very good about his mother, as he should. I said that I would make sure. I said that I would make sure that she got a recording of this, and hopefully her, no good son will give it to her. We're all hoping about that. Coach, does your philosophy and it's been every coaching tenure is a roller coaster. Every coaching tenure is a roller coaster. But you start out with the program, and you have one philosophy because you're trying to get guys to come play for you. And then you have a couple years where you go 5-5 or you go 6-4, and so you're on the precipice of doing incredible things. And then it starts to slide a little bit simply based on experience. Simply based on experience. Does your philosophy change as the roller coaster goes up and down?
As far as I hope not.
Yeah.
I think we, day one, we're preaching the same things we are, no matter what the record is, no matter what the scores are. In that sense, the philosophy stays the same.
What is your philosophy?
That's another good question.
I'm full of them, Coach Gruhn.
To be simple, we kind of base it on 3 tenets. We're going to work hard, we're going to compete, and we're going to love our teammate. And then, so we really focus on those 3 things, and then just no matter what the year is, and really focus on number 3, loving our teammate, and hopefully those 3 things will carry on with them the rest of their lives.
A couple years ago, when you all went 5-5, what did you learn from that year that carried you to the next year, the 6-4 year, that has carried you to this year? What has success taught you?
Well, it's how you just stay the course. You don't change. You stay the same principles. They're very simple, and so why change them? And so it's just perseverance. You just stay with it, and then no matter what, you just hold true to those same principles, and eventually, whether it's during the season or later on in those lives, it'll pay off for them.
Other than footballs being readily available, other than helmets already being there for you to put on a player, other than jerseys already being made, what exists in year 7 of your program? And dig deep here. What exists in year 7 of your program that didn't in year 1?
I think there's a desire more so now to be good. And I think, the first year and maybe the first couple of years, it was probably a survival. Let's just see if we can, nobody gets hurt and major injuries to the end. But I think now there's a desire we want to be better than we were last year, and we want to be better, be able to compete in a region and be relevant in single A football.
That has shown this year that exists. From game 1 to your game last week, where again the Lakeview Lions beat Cross Keys 42-0, and I've said it plenty of times, whether it's on the Burger King tailgate show, the Hardy Chevrolet scoreboard show, just in random conversations with people I find on the street that want to talk high school football. I've said it plenty of times. I don't care what your record is or what it shows about your team. You've got to be good offensively to score 42 points, and you've got to be good defensively to shut a team out. So tell us about last week's game against Cross Keys.
Well, going in, and didn't tell the players this much, but we felt like if we played well based on the improvement the last 2 weeks against Athens Academy and Wesleyan, 2 of the top 10 programs in the state, that we could do what we did. And so it was very rewarding that we did do what we did. But we felt like just based on those improvements that if we played as well and kept playing better, then from a coaching standpoint, we were not surprised. We felt like that was going to happen, and certainly glad it did.
Yeah, no, it was an impressive victory. Any way that you look at it, and like I said, regardless of your upcoming schedule, regardless of what the past schedule showed in your record, it's an impressive win when you can put up 42 points. You still running the triple option or a variation of it?
We are.
Talk about that offense. Why do you continue to run an offense that, frankly, schematically, college teams, professional teams have a hard time running because of the intricacies of it?
Yeah, well, it kind of goes back to the same philosophy. We believe in it, and this year we've actually it's kind of crazy, but we've gone to more of a 3-quarterback system, which is kind of rare. You hear like a 2-quarterback system sometimes. Steve Spurrier, I guess, made that famous, but now we've got 3 guys, and we've set up a package for each 3 guys, and I think it and so some of it's option based, some of it's not option based, and hopefully it gives defenses a little more hard time to prepare for us. But it's worked, and our kids buy into it. They're unselfish. I don't think they're clamoring for one or the other, and it just seems so far to be working.
Well, it seems from what Drake Hollander and Michael Chosewood were just doing to us over here that you all are having a pretty good time in that 3-quarterback system. Did you come into this season knowing with the talent that you would have, with the personnel you would have, you were going to go with 3 quarterbacks, or did practice and what was going on dictate making that move?
Yeah, practice, and we had a little fun. We actually threw the ball 9 times last game, which is maybe a record for
I was about to say, I'm shocked. I'm speechless.
I'm kind of am too, actually. Now we throw those stats out, but so, yeah, I think the kids are loving it. We're throwing a little bit more. We're doing some different stuff, and but we're still running some option. And like I say, hopefully it gives defenses a tough time to prepare for us.
Well, who would you know who to prepare for? You know, I mean, does one quarterback get more playing time depending on?
You know, we don't go in with any, you're going to get a set amount of plays or anything like that. It's more a feel of how the game's going and what they're doing and what we're doing well. And we can change in the middle of a series. We can go, we've changed play to play. And so it's working. And so we'll keep doing it.
You're the only coach I know that could pull off a 3-quarterback offense because you're so laid back. It's like, whatever. Put him in.
It's not like that, I'm sure.
But I'm saying, I mean, is he a laid-back coach? Is he laid back out on the field? I'm asking his team up here in front. Just answer honestly. Is he kind of laid back like he is right now, or does he get fired up? He must get fired up because they're not saying anything. But you really are the only coach I know that could pull that off.
Well, we got great kids, and they just do it, and it's amazing. You know, when you think about it, it's kind of maybe not smart to do.
I don't know. It seemed to work well for you last week.
But it did work well, and so. But I believe in those. I believe in our kids.
Yeah.
And they're proving it right.
The offense is the pretty. The offense sells the tickets. When you can put up 42 points on the board, people are going to come, especially if you can do it consistently. I like the defensive side of the ball. I like the grinding. I like the hitting. So talk about your defense. What schematically, yes, but also just about the group of young men that pitched a shutout for you last week.
Yeah, it was really, against, Athens Academy, we held them to 14 in the first half, and then in Wesleyan, we held them to 7 the first half, and so really started to play better and really, and then last week, obviously, a shutout. Anytime you get a shutout, it's fantastic. But if you play great defense, man, you got a chance.
Yeah.
You got a chance in every game, and our kids are again improving every time. Our defensive line's getting better, and every facet's getting better, and it's fun to see them. We're getting 11 hats to the ball, and when you do that, you got a chance.
You all host St. Francis out of Region 6A. Tomorrow. What does this team bring to the table? What do the Knights, what are they going to bring to Lakeview?
Pretty good team. They beat a team that beat us earlier by about 20, and so that in itself, I think, can open our eyes and bring a considerable challenge to us. They run some of the same stuff, triple option that we do, and I think it's going to be a very tough challenge, and I look forward to seeing what we do.
I've always liked it when teams match up with teams that run the same offense as you all do, because you see it day in and day out at practice, and it gives you an advantage. And now it gives them an advantage too, let's be honest, but it gives you an advantage. And while them beating a team that you lost to by 20 opens your eyes, it should also open your eyes that they allowed 3 points to Cross Keys and you allowed none. And they scored almost on Cross Keys what you all scored. But I want to know, as a coach, do you in fact go back to things like that and see it as sort of a litmus test for what you all should do that upcoming Friday, how you all should play, but more importantly, how the other team's going to play?
Yeah, you can. You certainly, we don't hold, because I think if we went back and kind of did a do-over, I think our first 3 might be a little different, and so we probably tell our kids that to more motivate them, but I don't see that as a fear factor or the fact that they beat that team by 20 and that beat us. So I just see it as going to be a good solid football game tomorrow night.
No need to have a fear factor, especially again 42-0 last week. We are only, I'm not very good at math, 5 days. Sorry, Miss McElwee, how many days ago was Friday? Could you help me out there just really? I didn't have you. That's why. However many days ago Friday was. Do you know? Were you good at math?
I'm terrible.
Man, we're a sad sack.
Yes.
But What did you? Who just told it? 6 days ago. Thanks, Drake.
They have Miss
Man, we
McElwee.
appreciate that. They have Miss McElwee. St. Francis 5-2 on the season, putting up 33 points per game. In so much as you talk about the fear factor, let's talk about confidence. Your defense has to have some after last week. They have to have a lot. And you mentioned allowing Athens Academy to only score 14 points by halftime, allowing Wesleyan to only score 7 by halftime. That's huge when you think about those being two perennial powerhouses in AA a few years ago and now in single A. On the defensive side, what are you going to have to do to slow down the Knights?
Well, they got a couple skilled guys that can really run, and so we've got to contain them and not give up the big play. You watch them on film, and they've got a couple guys that can go the distance on, and they got a good receiver that can make plays. And so if we don't give up the big play, then I like our chances.
How's this week of preparation been coming off the win, but also building to the win, with the confidence that instilled? How's this week of preparation been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. And Mondays are always more fun after a win.
Yeah.
And we hadn't had one of those in a while. So, I think our preparation's been great. And again, hopefully we'll see tomorrow.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back to Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville, we're going to wrap things up with one of my favorite men in high school football in the state of Georgia and possibly surrounding areas, Coach Matthew Gruhn. You make sure you come back and join us on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
From the WDUN Milton Martin Honda 24-hour newsroom, Fannin County is being sued by a federal agency over claims older employees were targeted during layoffs in 2011. Details at accessnorthga.com and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
Hi, everybody. The racing guy, Pat Patterson, here for Brandt. You know that winning on the track means managing your equipment and track conditions every lap. For the American farmers, success is also about managing the ever-changing variables of nature. Brandt partners with the American farmer every day and has been since 1953. Learn more about the winning spirit of Brandt and the role that they play globally in agriculture online at brandt.co. Brandt, take control.
New Satisfries from Burger King. A delicious new choice with 40% less fat, 30% less calories, and big taste. Cut from whole potatoes, fried to perfection to satisfy our lives. The heroes, the lovers, the everyman. Satisfy this cool guy. Satisfy Tammy. Just satisfy everybody. New Satisfries from Burger King. Are you satisfied?
Ever wonder what it would be like to live without a climate control system in your home? It's Bill Maine, and when my air conditioner died in the middle of summer, I found out the hard way. Trust me, you don't want to go there. So make the smart call to Gainesville Mechanical and get a Bryant Evolution system installed. We love ours, and with Bryant rebates of $2,000 along with tax credits and utility rebates, it's more affordable than ever. So call Mike Harrington at 770-532-9130 or visit GainesvilleMechanical.com. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-642-8896. 1-800-642-8896. That's 1-800-642-8896. 1-800-642-8896.
The National Preppers and Survivalist Expo, presented by Triton Shelter Technologies, is the only national event designated for the prepper community. October 19th and 20th at the North Atlanta Trade Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Admission is free, and the doors open at 9 a.m. Join us and learn life-saving tips that can help you and your family handle crisis situations. Special guests include Kevin O'Brien from Nat Geo's Doomsday Preppers, David Crawford, author of Lights Out, the director and cast members from the movie Lights Out Saga, and more. Special guest speakers include GCN's own Dr. Joel Wallet, along with Dr. Bones, Nurse Amy, and Tom Martin, the director of the American Preppers Network, two-time Field and Stream champion Chad Weatherford, along with many other leading experts from around the country. Join us for the country's largest emergency preparedness event, absolutely free, October 19th and 20th at the North Atlanta Trade Center in Atlanta, Georgia. For more information, visit npsexpo.com. That's npsexpo.com.
Mike Huckabee.
What he was going to do is to make it a kinder and gentler country, create the kind of nation where people really did work together on big ideas. Instead, we've ended up with the single most partisan president in my lifetime.
Afternoons 3 to 5 on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
Welcome back, friends. The Buffalo Wild Wings on Dawsonville Highway in Gainesville and the Game On Coaches Show. We're so happy you joined us on this Thursday night. We've got about 5 more weeks of the Coaches Show to go, and as excited as we were in week 1, we're going to be just as excited for the next 5. Next week, Riverside coach Gary Downs. Coach Matthew Gruhn and I talking off air a moment ago. Coach Gary Downs, I think, could motivate this table to go play for NC State, his alma mater.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
He is he is going to be unbelievable to listen to. He is quite the motivator, but just the way that he talks about football, the way that he talks about rearing young men is just unbelievable. And I implore you to listen from 7 to 8 next week. Now, we've still got a good 7 minutes to go with you, Coach Matthew Gruhn.
All right.
And you have yet to give us any dirt on Lakeview or your football program, so you're going to need to dish it this last 7 minutes. You did give us a funny story about Deuce Roark. At least I thought it was funny that he dropped a ball against Johnson. For those of you who didn't join us in the first half hour, big rival, Matthew Gruhn at quarterback for Gainesville, throws only the winning touchdown to Deuce Roark. Deuce Roark drops it, and they lose to Johnson by 6 points. Anyway, no wonder he's a baseball coach now, right?
Good point.
Yeah, no wonder he's a baseball coach now. And a very good one, by the way. A very good one. You're very welcome. Are you a better coach this year than you were 7 years ago, than you were at Appalachia High School, than you were at Winder Barrow High School, and why?
Yes, no doubt. I think every year you get better with all the experiences from the previous year, and you spend a lot of time reflecting and evaluating yourself, and which I think all coaches do, and you just look back and try to improve on those things that you didn't do well last year, and absolutely much better. I feel sorry for those first teams that we had.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm a lot better than I was those years.
When you think about the first couple years, was it a wide-eyed I mean, that was your first head coaching job, right? And you're not. It's not just your first head coaching job, but you're starting a program. Were you sort of wide-eyed?
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
You think you know what it's going to be like, but then you have no idea.
Are you better at time management in the off season? Do you have more programs in the off season now? And what are they? How do you get your guys prepared now for the season?
Well, it's at our school, which is awesome. I would say I think every kid on our team plays other sports.
Yeah.
And so which we totally support that. We want our kids to be multiple sport players, and so we don't spend a lot of time in the off season with those guys, sports specifically, but because they're playing other sports. But I wouldn't have it any other way. They're competing, and so we spend time in the summer. But I'm just very thankful they play as many sports and they represent our school as well as they do.
We were talking off air, Coach Gruhn, about the quality of young person that is at Lakeview, and we saw it here just by them showing up and interacting with you, especially when you didn't want them to. They were just trying to crack you up, but going and playing Plinko or going and shaking an adult's hand and looking them in the eye. That's the quality young adult that you have at Lakeview. If you will, tell us how easy it makes your job as a coach, as a mentor, when you've got people like that to coach and mentor.
Yeah, it does. It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, we can depend on them. They're going to be there when we say we want them there, and so that makes it very easy. And I think it makes it easier this year when we struggled early that they hung in there.
Yeah.
When in the temptation and the culture was, quit or don't try as hard or don't come to practice and all that, and they still kept coming and still working and seemed to be getting better. So it's character will always matter, and we certainly have high character kids at Lakeview Academy.
We've seen it evidenced here by the variety of people from Lakeview that showed up at Buffalo Wild Wings to support the school, to support you, to support your program, whether it's in the administration or another coach or another coaches, I should say, because Mike Lawley's sitting over here gnawing on some wings to my left. But Coach John Carrick here and teachers and administrators and your players, the community of Lakeview seems to be a very strong community, and it's something we talk a lot about when we're speaking of high school sports. Your athletic programs are better when your community is strong. Tell us about the community of Lakeview.
It is. It's a family. It's definitely family, and so many players, like I say, play other sports, and so we all cheer for each other. We all support each other. We all want each other to do very well, and that's across the board. And it's probably one of the best places I've ever been where that community is that strong.
Yeah.
And that's the leadership in our school, and that's just kind of how we are. And when people come from other schools, that's the culture. They're expected to play everything and support everything, and we don't divide and, all those kind of things, and that makes it a great place.
Speaking of supporting everything, you all have a new boys basketball coach this year in Todd Cottrell. How has he fit into the landscape at Lakeview thus far?
Absolutely fantastic. We couldn't have, to replace a legend such as Seth Vining, very tough job to do.
Yeah.
That's some big footsteps to replace, but man, he has come in, and I think the kids have certainly gravitated toward him. He's going to be a great one, and we're certainly blessed to have him.
Coach Seth Vining, I keep running into him at various and sundry restaurants on various nights of the week. He seems to be relaxing, enjoying his time, his retirement with his wife, Kathy, and we are glad not only for the time that he spent coaching in this area, but that he's now getting to enjoy himself with his wife and his two children. Part of the beginning of our time together, Coach Matthew Gruhn, was my asking about your mother, Miss Jean Gruhn. I want to end our time together by having you talk about your wife, Kendall, Coach. She sacrifices a lot, as do your children, to allow you to be the kind of coach you are. So tell us about your family.
Well, I have a wonderful, absolutely. I married up. I out-punted my coverage, no doubt about it. And still sometimes wonder why she said yes, but so thankful she did. And we have two beautiful daughters. And, you can't do it without them. I mean, there's no way you can go through coaching without a great family and great support at home. There's just no way. You can't do it by yourself. And she is always there and so supportive, and then and helps our little girls through the process as well.
Right.
Because she is there all the time, and our little girls sometimes don't understand why Daddy's not home all the time, and she fills in the gap better than I could ever have imagined. So thankful and blessed.
Was Kendall a football fan? And I could actually ask her. She's sitting right here in front of me, but I'm going to ask you because you're the guest. Was she a football fan before you got married? And if not, is she a convert? Is she one now?
Yes, she was. She went to University of Georgia.
Oh,
and,
nice. Go Dogs.
Certainly a big Georgia fan. So, yeah, she was a big Georgia fan.
And your girls, do they come to the games? Do they cheer on Daddy, or are they down on the sidelines? Do they have anything to do with it?
They do.
Nice.
They do a good job. They always give me a penny before the game, and kind of a tradition there. And I can end with one funny story. My youngest daughter at the Wesleyan game picked up a bunch of Wesleyan pom-poms and went and sold them to the Wesleyan crowd.
That's fantastic.
With a Lakeview shirt on.
I love hearing it. That's true fandom. Folks, Lakeview Academy, Coach Matthew Gruhn, we've had a time. Game on. We'll see you next week, folks.
It's 4th and goal, and the Tigers have taken their last time out. The season comes down to this.
You know they miss their veteran, Max Evans, right now.
Yeah, but Coach Dunphy made the right move. Concussions are serious.
You're right. We all need to help take concussions out of play. Okay, folks, this is it.
If you think your athlete has a concussion, don't assess it yourself. Take them out of play and seek a healthcare professional's advice. Visit www.cdc.gov/concussion to learn why.
Brought to you by BSITFC and this station.
I was talking to a fellow businessman recently, and he asked me how duplicating products has been successful for so many years in such a competitive business. After giving it some thought, I told him the truth as best I could, that there is no secret. Just a lot of really good folks who have worked for us and with us for almost 40 years now, and that we really do try to do things the right way and to take care of our customers. This is Matt Nix. Call Duplicating Products today at 770-532-9932.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville.
It's 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. President Obama letting loose today with some tough words for Republicans as the partial government shutdown came to an end.
President Obama started his remarks by suggesting the Republicans who opposed him, like Senators Ted Cruz and Mike Lee, who forced the showdown in the first place, are irresponsible.
Because Democrats and responsible Republicans came together, the first government shutdown in 17 years is now over.
While the president said there were no winners in the budget drama, his top aides at least celebrated the reopening of the government. From Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough's high five with Budget Director Sylvia Burwell to Vice President Joe Biden bringing muffins to the Environmental Protection Agency and serving up a brief lecture of his own.
Even for a moment, putting our full faith and credit on the line it's just not responsible.
Fox's Ed Henry reporting at the White House. A warning today from the State Department. Officials warning Americans about another possible terror attack similar to the one a few weeks ago on a mall in Nairobi, Kenya. The latest warning citing possible targets in Kampala, Uganda. President Obama settling on a nominee to be the nation's next Homeland Security chief.
In Jay Johnson, President Obama will put one of the legal architects of his national security strategy in as Homeland Security Secretary. A former federal prosecutor, he also served as the Defense Department's top lawyer. There, he was instrumental in helping draw up the administration's counterterrorism policies, as well as the repeal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. He did create controversy back in 2011 when he was quoted saying slain civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King would approve of U.S. military intervention in Afghanistan and Iraq, saying U.S. soldiers were good Samaritans. At the White House, Mike Makowitz, Fox News Radio.
Wall Street today, the S&P 500 with an all-time high, rising about 11 points to 1,733. The Dow finishing down 2 points, the NASDAQ up 23. And you're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.